Wow! What's happening, everybody? That's right. It's your boy. I'm back. Welcome to Let's Talk with Stanley Doucette. I am your host, and I am ready for this podcast, except as I'm recording, my camera seems to be going crazy. But if you're listening to me on the radio, you won't see this, but if you're looking at me on YouTube, you will see it. Anyway, let me get my eyes together. Welcome, everybody, to Let's Talk with Stanley Doucette. I am your host, and welcome to another powerful podcast that we're going to get into it today. This one, ladies and gentlemen, this one will challenge you. It is absolutely going to challenge you. So I want to say hello to everybody from around the world, regardless of where you're calling in from. I want to shout out to every single service member that is serving in, I consider it as very senseless war. It makes no sense. I'm not going to get into that. I may do a podcast on that another time. But I wanted to shout everybody out because I think it is important to say, we praying for the family members, all of the actual service members, everybody. We're just praying for them, regardless of my personal feelings. I want everybody to come back safe and healthy, and we'll be able to go from there. We can have a debate on what we should or should not have done, but I want to make sure all of the service members are safe. All of my family members that are serving right now, and everybody that's there. My hat's off to you guys. I have a ton of respect, ton of love, and keep doing what you're doing. Stay safe, and we go from there. To all of the countries that's logging in and listening to you, hello, how you guys doing? I would say it in different languages, but I'm tired today, y'all. I'm tired. I had a long week last week, and some of you guys may or may not know, but this is my favorite season. As I call this, I call it resurrection season. I mean, people call it different things, but it's my favorite season, getting ready for Resurrection Sunday. So there's a lot of things that I traditionally would do. I know they have the NCAA tournament that's going on here in America, basketball tournament. So it's a lot that's going on. And of course, if you're in New Orleans, it's crawfish season. Well, I say South Louisiana, it's crawfish season. So we have a lot that's going on. But I want to get into something powerful right now. So if you have something, grab something to take some notes with, grab something to write some stuff down. But this one, when I tell you family is going to challenge you, it is absolutely 100% positively is going to challenge you. So let me give you the topic. I couldn't wait just to get to the topic, right? So the topic is stop lying to yourself. That's right. Stop lying to yourself. No, I didn't say stop telling a story. No. We're going to be direct and in our face today. Stop lying to yourself. That's the first thing we're going to talk about. Stop lying to yourself. So let's get into how I actually even came up with doing a podcast with Stop Lying to Yourself. I've been listening to a lot of different individuals and people, and just listening to different things. And one of the things when you mentor people or you just listen to have an understanding is when you do that, a lot of times you have insight on things. And so I was listening very intently to a lot of people, and I just know a lot of people were just not telling the truth. I mean, they were just not telling the truth to themselves. Now, when I say not telling the truth, half truths, piece of truth, we can name it all kind of things, but it wasn't the truth, right? So I was like, I kind of want to dig into that. So I was going back and forward. Should I do it? Should I not do it? I'm thinking about doing it. Maybe I should do it, and all of those other things. And then I just got to the point. I said, you know what? Man, let's go on and get into this. I want to get into it. So if you have something to write down some stuff with, just write this stuff down, right? And we're going to dig into it because I want us to get into a place to where we are not lying to ourselves and we are being 100% purely and truthfully ourselves, right? So this is just some of the takeaways, some of the themes and principles that I'm thinking about. So one thing is excuses or self-sabotage. Yes. How many excuses do we make up a day about not doing something, right? I got notes everywhere. I got notes on my phone. I got written down notes. I got notes on my computer because this was just one of the ones that was like, ooh, this is going to be real good. So check this out. For excuses or self-sabotage, here's an excuse. I don't have time. Let me pause there and think about it, boy, because that hit a lot of people right there in the gut. Just that one, I don't have time. Now, we have time to do anything we want to do in our life. But what we choose is what we choose. Now, when it's something that's uncomfortable, a lot of times we say, oh, I just don't have time to do that. Or something I don't want to do, we would say, I don't have time to do that. So that's just one of those things, right? Because there's excuses that just become self-sabotaging your greatness. Here's another one. I'm not good enough. So we may not say it in that language. We may give it a different title. But when we're not comfortable with something or we're just unsure, right, we come up with all kind of excuses. I mean, we truly are the masters of excuses. I'm not even going to say y'all. So I come up with all kind of excuses. Listen, if I don't feel like doing something, man, I am very creative. Or not doing something. I mean, very creative. I'll decide I'm gonna cut the grass while it's raining. I mean, it could be anything, right? Because an excuse is an excuse, So we're going to make an excuse for something. So, hey, that's an excuse. But remember, that is just self-sabotaging yourself. Whatever your goal is, whatever the plan is, you're just self-sabotaging yourself. Here's another one, right? Write this one down. Radical accountability. Yes, radical accountability. You just think about this. You are responsible for your own happiness, right? So when we talk about being accountable, a lot of times we really don't want to be accountable on certain things. We say we do, and it sounds good if we on with our career and our jobs, our business. We in leadership classes, we talking to other leaders around the world, whatever it may be. Sometimes we just don't want to be accountable. Let us keep it 100. We don't want to be accountable. We just don't want to be accountable, because that means if you're accountable, you got to do what you say at the time you said or specified that it's going to get done. And sometimes we just don't want to be accountable. We might say, oh yeah, you know what? Next week, I'm going to run 2 miles instead of 1 mile. And you don't even run the whole week. And now you barely could make a half a mile. And then your accountability partner, if you will, or your husband or your wife or your significant other, they'll be like, oh, okay, how's the 2 miles coming? And you make an excuse. Yep, you make an excuse. So remember, radical accountability, though, is when you for real, you gonna make it happen. You're going 100%, you're gonna do what is going to do. One of the things for radical accountability is blaming external circumstances or other people strips you of your own power and make meaningful changes. You don't do that. You can't make meaningful changes because you strip yourself of your power, because you don't even want to hold yourself responsible. You don't even want to have radical responsibility, radical accountability. That's not what you want to do. You want to do other things, right? Here's another one. Ooh-wee. The uncomfortable truth. The uncomfortable truth. When we have something and we being honest with people, a lot of times, boy, we just blurt it out, or we'll tell them, yep, 1 + 1 is 2. And we have 1 + 1 is 2. Boy, we chest out, all that energy coming. But then when somebody turn around and say, do you know what's 2 × 2? And now you're all uncomfortable because you're not sure what that is. And you're scratching your head and, whoo. And then somebody says, so you don't really know your multiplication or your timetables, depending on what area you're in, right? You don't know that. And you're like, you kind of feel some kind of way. You're not really comfortable with that uncomfortable truth. Here's another one. you really don't like that guy. You really don't like that lady. But instead of telling them you don't like them because they haven't brushed their teeth, so they haven't brushed their teeth, so you don't tell them that uncomfortable truth like, hey, look, you need to brush your teeth. Or here's another one. So in certain parts of the world, they don't believe in deodorant as we may believe in it here in America, right? So there's a must smell, underarm must. And so, some people may not want to approach certain people and have that uncomfortable truth for, how they're feeling. Yeah, it's a lot. Some people say, oh, you got to be sensitive. They may not. That's an excuse. If you want that lady or that man to brush their teeth or to put deodorant under their arm, you got to have an uncomfortable conversation. Now, the other person got to be willing to receive. But in this case, when we're talking about ourselves, now somebody say, oh, Stanley, here's a Tic Tac. And, it's like, oh, instead of saying your breath stink, it's kind of like, damn, my breath stink. So you have this feel because it's not comfortable. You're just like, ooh, that's an uncomfortable truth. Or you wake up and you forgot to put your deodorant on, and then you walk outside and you smell yourself. You having an uncomfortable truth moment with yourself. But think about this. If you're truly receiving when it's uncomfortable truths, because it's uncomfortable if you forget your deodorant and somebody say, hey, bro, you stink. That's uncomfortable. That's uncomfortable. You forgot to brush your teeth. That's uncomfortable when somebody say your breath stink. That's uncomfortable. So there's a whole bunch of uncomfortable truths, but those are things that we will lie to ourselves and be like, I don't smell that bad. Yes, you do. Stop lying. You're lying to yourself, right? So that's one of those things like, whoo, yep. Here's another one. Advice, right? Advice. Action over motivation. Action over motivation. Waiting on the right time to feel or feeling motivated is just a form of procrastination. That's all it is. It's just an actual form of procrastination. That's it. Action over motivation is just a form of procrastination. Action is what creates motivation, not the other way around. So when you have action, it's going to create that motivation. But a lot of times people want to get motivated, right? And don't get me wrong, I love motivating people. And we have motivational speakers that listen to the podcast and all of that stuff. This is not stopping their hustle because they're doing an incredible job. But when you're motivated, the motivation for the most part is just 48 to 72 hours. After that, then all of the other negative things and like we say, stop lying to ourselves. All of those negative things come into our thought process and our mindsets and all of those things. So we start making excuses and giving doubt and sharing stuff that's not true. And as I like to say, lying to ourselves. So when we talk about, making sure we have action over motivation, that's what we want to do. But motivation in and of itself, we excited but we are waiting for the right time. No, you're not. You're scared. You're scared. Or you waiting to feel motivated. No, you're not. This is not strategic. The door been open, waiting for you to walk through the door and ask her to marry you or ask him to take the trash out. You've been waiting, but no, you don't want to do it. You're not. You're not. So that's another excuse. That is something that we're lying to ourselves about, right? Here's another one. Subtle self-deception. Most self-lies are subtle. They're very, 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 very subtle. Such as calling like procrastination, we talked about it, but like, oh, I'm gonna do some research. Oh, let me check this out. No, that's no, come on now. Come on, stop. Come on now. We gotta do better than that. But remember, subtleness is a form that creates negative environments within ourselves. And when we're talking about ourselves, we can lie to ourselves right away. Nobody else knows but us. But here's the thing. We then begin to believe that particular lie, or that begin to that subtleness, right? We begin to deceive ourselves, and that leads in going into the negative world and all of the evil forces and all of that stuff to keep you away from being 100% you. So when you having subtle self-deception, it's subtle. It's very, very subtle. Another one we'll say inside of that subtle deception is, oh, I just want to be realistic. I don't want to make $1 million. I want to be realistic. Well, who said you couldn't make $1 million? You did. You lying to yourself. You already killing your dreams. Because if somebody says, oh, you can make $1 million, you be like, oh, well, let me be realistic. Why is that not realistic? That is realistic. But it's the subtle self-deception that takes us off of our game. Now, when you put all of this together, family, just in this part, and I'm going to get to the other part about just doing some changes, right? But when you put these things together, we're really lying to ourselves a lot. You know, a little becomes a lot. If you keep putting a little bit, it becomes a lot. So we have to make sure that we're not lying to ourselves. You know, people be like, oh, all we have to do is, oh, here's another one. We like to give advice to everybody else. Let me make sure the mic on. Ding, 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 ding. We like to give advice to everyone else. But when it's time to look at ourselves, that's when we get stuck. Why is it we can help other people so readily and easily, but when it comes to looking at ourselves, it's like, ugh. You know, I had a conversation with my mentor, and we were just conversing about a few things. And I remember one thing he told me a while ago, and he said to create a plan for your life. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. I ain't never created that plan. It took me a long time to create that plan. Why? I didn't want to do it. But it wasn't I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to ask specific questions because I didn't want it to feel like I didn't know what I was doing, right? I wanted to have it all together. But why I didn't ask the question? It was creating self-doubt, deception. I can go on and on and on. There was no action involved. You know, I was in the comfort zone. That's another one. I didn't even get to that one. In the comfort zone, I was talking about being realistic and all those things. Hey, we must stop lying to ourselves to be the very best of who we are. You know, you talk about even a cost of comfort, right? I'm comfortable staying on this job. That's right. I don't want to be a supervisor. I just want to stay right here on this job. I don't want to manage other people. I just want to stay right here. Well, you're being in a comfort zone. You're staying in that comfort zone. What comfort zone lead to? Stagnation. Let me say it again. What does comfort zone lead to? Stagnation. That's right. That's what it leads to. You can't stay in a comfort zone and then all of a sudden, you know, I don't want to supervise anybody. So instead of you getting the actual big promotion, you don't get that big promotion because you don't want to manage anybody or supervise anybody or direct anybody. Nah, I'm gonna just stay right here. Well, they're gonna give you about $500,000 to be the director. Nah, I'm good. I'll stay right here in the lab and just make this, $80,000, $100,000. I'm good. Well, all that's doing is leading to stagnation, and we have to get out of that. So, encircling all of this thing, everything together, the one thing I want to say is, before I get into the next phase of it, is make sure we are all not lying to ourselves. We want to make sure we're not lying to ourselves. You can tell everybody else something different, but we want to make sure that we're not lying to ourselves. Okay? Now, let's get to this next part. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. So, lessons for change, right? I'm only going to do 5 of them, but just lessons for change. Excuses are elegant lies. That's all it is. Excuses are elegant lies. I don't have time, or I'm not ready, or stories designed to protect the status quo. That's exactly what it is. See, now that we're starting to understand what it is, we can make that change. So when you say a phrase like I don't have time, okay, that's just protecting the status quo. That is protecting where you are. Now, if that's all you want to do all the rest of your life and you want to stay stagnant, well, hey, we can't make you change, but we want to make sure that you have that positive and wonderful growth, right? Or I'm not ready. Again, all you're doing is protecting the status quo. Here's another one. Identify is flexibility. Deep-seated belief is something like, I've always been this way. Okay, great. I'm glad you've always been that way. Now it's time to change. Well, when you talk about change, that's going to create some uncomfortable feelings that may create something that's uncomfortable. But instead of going in that place to get better, I'm going to stay here. Think about this. I want you guys to think about this. So a lot of people I've been talking to lately, I've just been conversing with them. And one thing I noticed that just didn't sit right with me is a lot of people are staying in the same place. They're not trying to move forward. They are just comfortable with staying in that place. And it's something when they start to talk, it just does something to me personally, because it's like, if you think about this, all of the waters around the world, they have all of these oceans and gulfs and lakes and all rivers and so on, right? All of those, they're constantly moving. Yeah, let me take that road. They're constantly moving. So if you have a lake, the Gulf of X, or the ocean, or the river, or the pond, all of those are constantly moving. Now, in that movement, other things can live. So all of the different sea animals, right? All of them can actually live. All of the fish, all of the, the dolphins, the whales, etc., so on and so forth. All of them can actually live because the water is moving. But if the water does not move, there's absolutely no way in the world any type of species can live, any type of fish can live in that, because there's nothing being created. There's no movement. And God did not create water to stand still. He did not. I don't want to get too deep into that. He did not. So when it moves, it's moving to create waves and oxygen and motion and all those other things that it begins to create. But what happens is a lot of times we just collectively, personally, we want to stand still. We don't want to be flexible. We just want to stand still and say, this is how I've always been. Imagine if the water just stayed in this one place and said, this is all I want to do. Well, it's a lot of things that it was created for and it's not doing. So we don't want that to have that permanent trait and it stay in that place. We have to move. We must move. It's a must. Here's another one. Knowing versus doing. Intellectual understanding is useless without execution. Let me say that again. Ding, 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 ding. Intellectual understanding is useless without execution. Woo! You can understand something, but if you don't put some action behind it, hey, it's just like you ain't doing nothing. That's great. Okay, that's wonderful. You that smart. Okay, cool. But what did you do with that information? Did you go out and do it? I know a particular person, they know an incredible amount about business, right? I mean, an incredible amount. But then you ask them, well, did you do it? Oh, no, I'm waiting for this. And it's always an excuse. Ma'am, sir, I don't care how much you know, but you're not putting no action behind it. So please miss me with all of that. Oh, I got the knowledge. Okay, great. You just want to shine so everybody can see you, but you're still in the same place. You're still staying, you're not flexible. You stand in the one place. You're giving excuses, and every single thing that we're talking about stop lying to yourself, he and or she is doing that thing. And that's the part, it's like, no, we got to do better than that. So just because intellectually you understand, but that's useless because you have no action with it. You're not executing anything. If you are one of those individuals, stop right now, right here, and say, you know what? Let me take action to my plan. I don't care if you have to go and talk to your supervisor. I don't care if you have to talk to your lab mate. I don't care if you have to talk to your business partner. I don't care if you have to go get training or whatever it is. Go talk to somebody and make a decision to change right now. Not tomorrow, change right now. Because if you don't change right now, guess what? You're going to stay stagnant. And I promise you, you will never hit the goals and dreams and desires you have if you stay stagnant. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So that's that. Here's something else. Embracing vulnerability. Woo! Ooh. I think I was going to use that when I get to relationship. But let me just talk about embracing vulnerability. Accepting your flaws and imperfection is necessary for building resilience and authenticity. Woo! Let me read that again. Embracing vulnerability is when you're accepting your flaws, not your mama, not your daddy, not your genes, not your genealogy report, none of that. Accepting your flaws or imperfections, flaws and imperfections is necessary for building resilience and authenticity. Yep, that's right. I said it. When you understand who you are. So I want to get to relationships. Let me just say this. When you understand who you are and you make a mistake, this is who I am. Now, it's not a who I am and I'm staying stagnant because I don't want people to get that all mixed up, right? When you say, hey, this is my flaws, this is who I am, this is what I'm working on. This is what I'm working on to be better. So when I was a police officer and I got into network marketing and I used to just tell people, you need to do this, right? And I'm coming off with this authoritative voice and people was running from me. I was like, why are y'all running from me? Like, I'm trying to help y'all be successful. I'm trying to help you do this. Well, it was because I had a flaw in how I was speaking to it. It wasn't what I was saying. It was how I was saying it. And I had to learn how to craft it better, get out of that police thought process, that thick police mindset, and begin to move into a way where people can feel comfortable about moving forward and doing something. Well, that was something that I had to accept my flaws, my imperfections. I had to understand and realize that. Then I literally took the necessary steps. Yep, talk to a mentor, start talking to people, start listening to how people say. I started recording myself. I started doing all of these different things because I wanted to consistently get better. I did not want to stay stagnant, and I wanted to consistently get better. I want to get to this because it's been itching. It's been itching me. One thing I want to talk about in terms of when we go into lying to ourselves, not lying to ourselves, is going into relationships. Stop making excuses for your partner's behavior. That's what I want to say in a relationship. Stop making excuses for your partner's behavior or a friend behavior who let you down. Let me say that again. Stop making excuses for your partner's behavior or a friend's behavior who have let you down. See, now you're taking and putting all of that guilt on you, right? And you're still lying to yourself because what they did is not your fault. They let you down, but we don't say that, right? Here's another one. In a relationship, somebody call and be like, hey, Stan, when my dad died, right? Somebody call and be like, hey, Stanley, how you doing? I'd be like, oh, I'm cool. I'm getting there. No, I'm cool. I'm getting there. What does that mean, Stanley? Just tell the people you tore up from the floor up right now. They understand. But I'm cool. I'm cool. I'm all right. Yeah, every now and again I feel I have a bad day, but I'm good. Stop lying to yourself. Listen, I'm tore up from the floor up right now. I don't even know what to tell you. I'm hurting. I'm in pain. And grief is funny, right? In a relationship. So sometimes you have these grieving moments. And somebody call me now if I'm having a grieving moment and ask me how I'm doing. I'll tell you, I'm tore up right now. I don't want to talk to nobody. I'm crying. I'm hurting. I miss my dad. All of it coming out. I'm not even gonna stop it. I'm gonna be completely vulnerable. Hey, you ask me how I'm doing? Here you go. If that relationship is there, you should be able to do that. So when somebody let you down and you want to do that to an ex person, whether it's a male or female, and you do it to that person and they let you down, first of all, acknowledge that they let you down. Just don't lie to yourself and say, oh, they must have. Now you're making excuses for them. No, the hell with that. You have to stay right where you are and be honest and totally honest with yourself, because if not, then what's going to happen is, hey, now you're going to start feeling some kind of way. Or in making those excuses for them, then you're going to start saying, oh, I don't have to, oh, I'm not ready to talk to them yet. And now you're giving all of these excuses. No. Stop lying to yourself. You're not feeling, hey, listen, Stanley, I'm sorry that your dad, I'm tore up. I'm hurting. Stanley, I understand. I'm sorry that your dad is not here anymore. Anything I can do. Now, when he asks that question, you'd be like, yeah, can you come here? And I'm making something up. Can you come here and sweep this corner of my floor, please? And then they go into, oh, I would, but, and well, hey, you know where they stand. You know where they stand in that relationship. You know where they stand. So when I'm saying stop making excuses, I'm truly meaning stop making an excuse. Audit your circle. Woo! Audit your circle. Be self-honest. Honestly, audit your circle and see who's your true ride or dies and who's your true like a lie or bag of lies. Right? So that's what you have to do. Think about this. I dare you to do this. Call the people that call you. Don't call the people that don't call you. I promise you, it will clear a whole bunch of things up. I did this experiment myself. I'm telling y'all what I did. I ain't saying what somebody else did. I did this myself. So anybody know me? I'm a person. I'm a call. I always call. I'm always calling. I always text. I always check on you. That's me. That's who I am. So then I don't remember what happened, but I just stopped calling. I just stopped calling everybody. And do you know they had some of these knuckleheads out here? Some of them probably listening to the podcast now. Yep, I'm talking about you. And they was like, oh, I haven't heard from you in a while. And I was like, yeah, I haven't heard from you for a while either. And it was like, well, why you stopped calling? I said, why haven't you called me? My phone number didn't change. And then they go right into an excuse. Oh, well, no. Let's not miss that, right? My phone number haven't changed. I used to come to New Orleans when I was in Atlanta, and I would come to New Orleans and they would have people say, oh, I'm visiting. I'm in New Orleans, I'm visiting. And they'd be like, oh, when you coming back? Oh, let me know when you come back. No, I'm coming back when you come see me. See, that stopped all of that foolishness. All of that foolishness. Oh, I don't want to hear that. Stop. No. Here's another one. It was visiting, and you at a certain person's house, or you at the hotel, you staying at a hotel, and say, hey, we all can meet here or there. And then people be like, oh, you gonna come by my house? Oh, why are you not coming by my house? I just drove or flew from Atlanta. You telling me you can't get yourself in your car and drive to where I'm at? Oh, I'm good. I appreciate you. That, again, when you audit your circle, it'll share with you exactly where you are. When I got my doctorate and I had, some people were coming, they say they were coming, I'm coming. Oh, I'm telling you, you audit your circle. My boys showed up. My girls, they showed up. Some of these fake wanna be in your circle, they didn't show up. They came up with every excuse. Oh, I didn't have enough time. How much time you need? You need 16 years? Come on now. So, hey, listen, audit your circle. It will help you tremendously overall, even in your career. Let me say this, and this is more so for a lot of women. My friends that are ladies that are there, stop selling yourself short. Stop selling yourself short. I can't remember who it was, but I remember the situation. I was talking, it was a friend of mine, and she was like, ooh, Stanley, I'm going to get this job, and let's just say the salary was everybody was averaging say like 200,000. Some may a little more, but for the most part everybody was at 200,000. And they told me they was gonna ask for $180,000. I almost lost my mind. I was like, I can't say what I said. I was like, wait, what? You said the average is 200,000, but you're going to literally ask for $180,000? And we're like, yeah, I really want to get the job. And shortchange yourself? I'm trying to understand the logic of that. This is a multi-billion-dollar company. And you saying you want to shortchange yourself. How? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. So in your careers, stop lying or doubting yourself. You're lying to yourself. And then they start coming up with every single excuse under the book. I'm getting hot thinking about it. If the average salary was 200,000, I say, well, why not? Why you don't ask for 250? And they were like, well, what if I don't get it? I say, what if you get it? Well, what if you get it? You are selling yourself short. And this is mostly for ladies. Stop selling yourself short. There are some guys, but stop selling yourself short. Let me say this to the guys that are not confident in terms of talking to ladies. Because I'll talk to some men who are like, oh, I really want to talk to X person here or X person there. And I was like, okay, well, what's the problem? I'm confused. I don't understand. And he was like, well, she might tell me no. She might tell you yes. It's the exact same thing. Stop selling yourself short. Somewhere, I forgot I think it's old people used to say, a closed mouth don't get fed. So if you don't ask, hey, you never know what's going to happen. Think about this. The young lady, she went and asked for 250, and they said they're going to make a counter offer. The counter offer was, guess how much, guys? $225,000. Now you think about that. What is that? $45,000 more that she got. $45,000 more that she got just because she asked for her worth. She didn't make an excuse. She was 10 toes down. She wanted $250,000. And they say, well, can we make a counter offer? And he came back with $225,000. And then he gave, like something and something. And at the end of the day, she got the $250, not in core salary, but it was maybe a couple of bonuses here and there. But she got the core salary. She was $45,000 more at her base salary. Closed mouth don't get fed. Closed mouth don't get fed. So we have to stop lying to ourselves. What is in a relationship, what is career, and in our personal growth. Listen, we're doing this to keep our mindset going forward. We have to, especially in this season, what's going on around the world, we have to keep our mindsets going forward. Don't diminish ourselves. Don't diminish ourselves spiritually. Don't diminish ourselves mentally, physically, emotionally, psychologically. None of that. Keep going forward. You are the greatest sum total of yourself. No one else can be you but you. We need you to be 100% with yourself. Don't lie to yourself. Be the truth. And where you see things you want to work on, hey, let's work on those things. But if we don't be honest with ourselves, we can never walk forward. We can never be truthful. There's a lot of times people don't want to be successful. Fear of being successful. It's not the fear of failure. It's the fear of being successful. Woo! Let's be successful, family. Let's break that curse of stagnation. Let's break the curse of lying to ourselves. And let's literally go forward in everything that we're doing, because we don't want to be lying to ourselves, because all we're doing is perpetuating a cycle that was taught to us by somebody that was trying to keep us in slave mentality mode. We are breaking those curses. So we have to continue to move forward and make sure that we do not lie to ourselves anymore. As a matter of fact, from here on out, just make an oath to yourself. I'm not going to lie to myself anymore. Regardless of how much hurt, how much pain, just don't lie to yourself. All right. So family, listen, I appreciate you guys. Let's get it on in. Let's not lie to ourselves anymore. Let's make it happen and let's go to work and see what we need to do. All right. So listen, I'm going to close out here. Obviously, there was so much more I could have talked about, make all kind of things happen. But we're going to close out right here. Don't lie to yourself. Be truthful to yourself. Even if you catch yourself making an excuse on something, hey, acknowledge it, laugh about it, and just keep it moving. Let's move past it and let's see what we can do. All right. So with that being said, I love you guys. I'll see you guys on the beaches of the world. God bless. And this is going to conclude our presentation. I'll say I did that last week. I'm just in presentation mode. All right. This is going to conclude our podcast for today, Monday, the 23rd. So I'll see you guys next week on Let's Talk with Stanley Doucette. Y'all be safe. See y'all on the beaches. Peace. I'm out.